Why is law school so hard? Why are people always saying law school is hard? What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new here. Hey, hello, my name is Angela and I make videos about law school, lawyer life, and all things in between. Happy new year. It is 2024. We are going to continue to elevate and do the dang thing. Today we are going to be tackling a topic that I think will be helpful for many pre-law students. I have a lot of you guys that follow me that aren't even graduated from college yet. You guys know you want to go to law school, or you think you want to go to law school, but all you hear about law school is that it's hard. And I'm not going to front with you guys. I'm going to keep it real with you guys. Law school can be very hard. It can be very challenging. So in today's video, we're going to talk about specifically why law school can be so hard. Like, why is law school so hard? Why are people always saying law school is hard? So the first reason law school can be really hard is kind of simple. It's a new, challenging environment. You guys have heard me say this on this channel so many times, but law school is not like undergrad. It's a lot more challenging. No matter how smart you are, no matter how studious you are, law school is going to present a new set of challenges for anybody because it's a new environment. It's a lot more intense than what most students are used to in their undergraduate programs. It's likely going to test your confidence. It's likely going to test your tenacity and your determination and willingness to push through. It can be nerve-wracking, it can be exhausting, and it's competitive. So with all those factors coming into play, it can be quite difficult. The next reason law school can be hard is the grading process. In law school, particularly in your first year, your courses are graded on a curve. This means that only a set amount of people can receive each type of grade. So think about an undergrad, right? If everybody studies really hard for the test and everybody gets all the answers right on a test, everybody can get an A. You know, everybody has the ability to get an A in a course in undergrad. In a typical undergrad course. That is not the case in law school courses that are graded on the curve. Only a certain amount of people can make A's, only a certain amount of people can make B's, only a certain amount of people can make C's, and so on and so forth. And so that right there is going to up the ante for most students, especially those students who are vying for that top spot or vying for top grades, because you are literally competing with other people in that class. So not only do I have to do good, but I have to do better than X amount of people in order to get that A. The next reason law school is so hard is it can be super demanding and time consuming. Law school assignments and exams are on a whole nother level than any sort of undergraduate or high school experience that students have had previously. Law school students have daily reading assignments that if they do all of that reading, it takes hours to complete. They have to take a ton of notes during class and then have to go home or go to the library and still create outlines, which is essentially your study guide that you will use in order to prepare for the final exam. Another component that makes law school time consuming and demanding is the amount of time you need to prepare for final examinations in law school. In undergrad, I don't know about you guys, but for me in undergrad, I could literally study the night before, maybe 2 nights before if it was a hard class, and still get an A on the exam. This is not the case for law school. You need lots of time. I always suggest on this channel or in my one-on-one consultations that you take at least a month before your first final exam to prepare for final exam. So that's a lot of time, you guys. That's a lot of time to prepare for an exam. In law school, procrastination and last minute studying, it just won't do it. It just won't work. Students who are really trying to excel and do their best in law school because of the amount of time that reading, outlining, studying, and all of that takes. It just doesn't work well. There's just so much information to learn and digest that it can make for a very kind of intense and difficult experience at different times throughout the semester for law students. The next thing is just the amount of material that you have to read, remember, analyze, and study is crazy. It's a lot of material that you cover within a course in law school. And not only is it a lot of material, but the material that you're covering, the legal principles and concepts are complex. And so they're hard to understand. And so it takes time to even learn them, understand them, and then on top of that, you need to remember them and be able to identify them and speak to them on your assignments and final exams. So again, this speaks to why law school is hard. For brand new law students, they're often shocked at how much reading the assignments are, and kind of how hard and dense the material is to understand. It's not just like picking up a long book and reading it. It's picking up a long book, reading it, and then realizing you don't understand half of the lingo in the book. And there's all sorts of arguments, one way, another way. You don't understand where there's an actual straight answer. The material can be confusing and dense. So it adds on another layer of just kind of confusion and difficulty for law students as they learn to navigate through those reading assignments. Another component to that is you're likely reading and studying every single day. If your experience was similar to mine in undergrad, you didn't really do work every day. I would attend class every day, you know. And by every day, obviously, I mean Monday through Friday, Monday through Thursday, depending on what your class schedule was. I went to class those days, but a lot of times I went to class and then went on about my day. In law school, you're likely doing something pertaining to law school every single day, whether that be reading, studying, outlining. There's something for you to do every single day if you're staying on top of things. Reason for this is how law school exams are structured. Now, if you go back to college, typically you're going to have several quizzes and exams throughout the semester to kind of test your knowledge as you go, right? That's not how law school exams typically work. You might have a midterm. It usually doesn't count for any sort of grade or anything, or it counts for a very small percentage of your final grade. Your final grade is largely made up of that one final exam at the end of the semester. And everything on that exam is free game, right? And some college professors do that where everything is free game, but you typically have tested your knowledge throughout the semester on those topics. That's typically not how law school exam works. So you're studying for a final exam that is usually your entire grade, and everything that you learned throughout the semester is free game. So you're trying to make sure you study literally everything that you learned throughout the semester and make sure you know that stuff just in case it ends up on the exams. So that can be pretty intense. And that, I think, is one of the biggest reasons why law school can be quite difficult. The next reason is just juggling your personal life and law school can be very, very difficult. As a practicing attorney who's, you know, gone through undergrad, law school, I still think law school was the hardest time for me to have a personal life. And I say that as a person who has worked in private practice in a large law firm in big law. I now don't work in big law, so I have not been a parent and been in big law, but I'm now working full-time as an attorney. I have a son, an infant son, and I have a husband. And I will say still, I think I juggled my personal life better now than I did in law school, particularly that first year. Law school is already a lot to handle for the reasons that I just mentioned. And then trying to make sure you're maintaining a personal life, you know, with your relationships outside of school, which means your family, your significant other, your friends, making time for yourself, self-care, all those types of things can be difficult because you're so zero focused on, I have reading assignments every single day. If I don't have a reading assignment because it's the weekend, I need to outline. Once final exam season comes, you're now preparing for final exams quite literally every single day up until your exam time. So it can be very hard to juggle both. And as you guys probably already know, it is important to take care of yourself. It is important to maintain relationships. That can be really, really hard. There are going to be times where you just have to miss out because you have to study or you have to read. And this is not to say that you don't have fun and that you don't have a life. I definitely had a life in law school, particularly after my first year. I met my husband when I was in law school. So not to say that life can't happen. It's just really hard to maintain. And you have to have really good time management and organizational skills if you want to stay on top of your law school curriculum and also maintain a life and also practice self-care. The next reason why law school is so hard is because grades and honors matter. That's just what it is. People do not like when I say this, but grades do matter. Now, when I say grades matter, am I saying that if you don't make the best grades that you won't get a job? No. Am I saying that if you don't make the best grades, you won't pass the bar and become a lawyer? No, that is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the legal field is a competitive field. Think about it. Think how hard it can be to get in law school. Think about the types of people who are in law school. Law schools are usually admitting the best and brightest, of their applicants. So you're competing against the best and the brightest. So even if you were the best and brightest in undergrad, you're now competing against all the other best and brightest. Does that make sense? So it can be very competitive, and that doesn't stop outside of law school, which makes the legal field competitive in the sense that if you are vying for top jobs, you're going to be vying against the best and brightest. And so a lot of times, particularly when you are fresh out of law school, it changes once you have some experience under your belt, but particularly when you are fresh out of law school or applying for the top kind of internships in law school, such as prestigious clerkships, big law, of course, and just things like that, they're going to look at your grades to determine whether they want to select you to be on their team or to even interview you. Sometimes grades and honors can be a gatekeeping thing where we don't even let you interview with us unless you have certain types of grades. It's not to say that you won't get jobs or you won't get internships, but it is to say that grades and honors matter for those more prestigious, competitive roles. And if you're like me, and you wanted those top spots, you wanted that high earning compensation from day one, then grades do matter. Honors do matter. And so that can be very, very difficult because you're putting in work day in and day out to make sure you're making the top grades. So the last reason that we're going to discuss today is legal writing and research is different. One of the big things you're going to learn in law school is legal writing and research. You're going to learn how to write like a lawyer. Okay, you're gonna learn how to do legal research. And I don't want to necessarily say it's difficult, but I will say that it's different. Different from how you've been trained to write up until this point. So different from how you learned in English class and reading comprehension in high school, in undergrad. Very, very different. It's also very particular, very detail oriented. And so that can be a tough transition to make if you've been trained to write a certain way your whole entire life up until now, and then you get to law school and they want you to kind of change that. It can be very difficult. It's just a different style. It's a unique style that you have to adapt to. However, it is a big component of your law school education, and it is a foundational skill that you will need for the legal practice. So take it serious. Legal writing and research was my least favorite class, hands down, in law school, but it is important and you do need it for the practice of law. So yeah, y'all, those are some of the top reasons of why people say law school is hard. So I hope that gives you some insight of like what you can expect. And I also don't want you to take this video and be like, heck no, I'm not going to law school, or nope, I ain't gonna be able to do it. No, don't take that. Take this information and use it as ammunition in the sense that when you go to law school, you know what to expect. Don't take it as, oh, I can't do this. Just take it as, I know what to expect. So it'll kind of calm your nerves and help you prepare a little bit more before you get there. I will say this, law school can be difficult. Law school is difficult, but with time, you will learn your style, you will learn your strategies for studying, and you will find your groove, and it'll get much easier and you'll be smooth sailing. It's just how it works. You have to go through this. Like with anything challenging, you go through this uncomfortable period and then you start to get used to it and things get a lot better. In my personal opinion, I know there's so many people on the internet talking about how, even lawyers saying how, the legal profession is terrible, don't become a lawyer. I personally think the legal profession and being a lawyer can be rewarding, especially if you are going into it with a plan and you have a passion for it, and you are realistic about what to expect. And that's why resources such as myself and other legal YouTubers and Instagram pages are super important, because I think we all give you a little bit more insight, and so you're not shocked and you feel a little bit more prepared when you go into law school and go into the legal profession. That being said, law school does not teach you how to be a lawyer, but it does prepare you and equip you with the underlying techniques and skills that you need in order to be a practicing attorney, if that makes sense. And if it doesn't, I can do a whole video on this. I probably have done one in the past, y'all. I've been on YouTube for a minute, okay? For those of my OGs, comment down below and let me know you are still here and still watching. And if you are a new subscriber, comment down below and say, hey, let me know you're here. Give me that motivation to keep posting, and let me know what type of videos you want to see. If you are not yet following me on Instagram, do follow me on Instagram at _theaspiringboss. If you want to join our legal community on Facebook, I will leave a link down below to the Aspiring Lawyers group. I do offer one-on-one consultations where we talk about your legal journey. No legal advice, y'all. No legal advice. I do consultations to talk about your legal journey for admitted law students, and also for those who want to create a strategy for final exams. You guys know law school was a dub for your girl, okay? It took a lot of work. I didn't know anything going into it, but I was able to come up with a strategy that helped me graduate in the top of my class, Cali my classes, which means make the highest grade. I really attribute my success in law school to my final exam strategies. So if that sounds good to you, I will leave a link down below to book a one-on-one with me. I just opened up some spots, y'all. They're gonna go quick. Y'all have been emailing me, DMing me, commenting, when are you opening up spots for one-on-ones? And I opened up some spots, y'all. With that, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, comment and say hey, put me back in the algorithm, and I will see you guys next week. Peace.